Pete Gosar, a lifelong Wyoming resident, born in Pinedale, graduated in 1992 from the University of Wyoming with a BA in secondary education. He went back to Pinedale where he taught high school social studies. But while at UW, and some of you men will relate to this, I'm thinking most of you women also know this, he was a walk-on football player for the UW team. He, through effort and commitment, he earned an athletic scholarship, received 4 varsity letters, was named all-conference player, and was an academic all-conference player. That's commitment and effort. He went on to receive the associate degree in aviation technology at San Juan Community College and became a professional pilot. He has worked as an airline pilot for nearly 7 years and has been the flight operations manager and a senior pilot with the Wyoming Department of Transportation for the past 9 years. He also owns an aviation business in Laramie. That's commitment and effort. He has served since 2011 on the Wyoming Department of Education's board and most recently was elected chair of the Wyoming Democratic Party, a position he relinquished to run for governor. That's commitment and effort. As exemplified by his college football performance and his other pursuits, he has demonstrated that time-honored tradition of commitment and hard work that were stressed to him at his early age. He will bring that same effort and commitment to his role as the next governor of Wyoming. Please welcome soon-to-be Governor of Wyoming, Pete Gosar.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thanks, Joan. I appreciate that. Boy, that almost sounded like me. Awesome. And I'd like to tell you, as I look out at a crowd like I see today, there are 2 things I try not to forget, and they come from 2 different people. One from this little Basque lady that raised me, and she said, you know, if you ever get to a crowd and you're having a pretty good time, just say thank you a lot, and that way they'll ask you back. And so I'm going to take care of that right away. And then I can't help but hear this old defensive coordinator of mine. And when it got bad in a game, when it got time to put in Gosar, he'd go, hey, Gosar! And I'd run up there because I was excited. He'd say, now, you're in. Just don't screw it up. And you know, I'd run out there with that boost of confidence, and so I'll try not to get that done today. We'll try not to screw it up. So thanks, the Democratic women of Natrona County, thank you for hosting that. Thank you for the invite. It's really nice. It's really nice to be here amongst friends. And I got a lot to say. So I'm hoping that 10 minutes, I won't bore you too much. This is a great opportunity for me. You know, and you come back to some of those things Joan talked about. On the back of our shirts, the term walk-on is very important. It's extremely important. And I hope never to forget it. And we try to remember every time we go and do a function and every time we do a campaign, because it's that. It's those 2 words that have made the difference. And it's those 2 words that I think everybody in this room can identify with. Yep. We've all been walk-ons one time or another. And right now they're asking us to do a little more walking on than other times. And there's power in saying I can do something when people are saying you can't. And there's an ability in this room that can make that happen. You know, I think of this young kid from Pinedale who was a little too short, a little too light, not fast enough. He had an oversized dream and an undersized body, but he didn't listen. And he had some really good people along the way who told him, don't listen. Don't listen. If you want to try, try. Who knows if you get to the end? Who knows what happens? But I think back, and if I would not have tried, I wouldn't have had some of the greatest memories of my life. You know, I can still think today about running out on War Memorial Stadium in September of 1987, and I felt like I was flying. You know, it's so nice to feel bulletproof. That feeling's gone away. But, you know, and I think that's available to each and every one of us in Wyoming. And so we try to tell people you need to walk on. You need to walk on to help us. You need to walk on to your community. You need to walk on to your local candidates. You need to walk on to Mike Sabias' campaign. You need to walk on because there is strength and power in saying I can. And we do it all the time. And there's not only strength, but you have to. Because there's some people counting on you. There's some people that need your help. I think back to one of the signature issues that we talk about, gender-based wage inequality. Now, many of you are shaking your heads because you know about it from a personal experience. But if you have a daughter, if you have a mom, if you have a niece or a grandma, and you're a guy, you have a dog in this hunt, and it's a bad way to deliver economic value. It's unfair, it's bad economics, it's a horrible community, and our flag says we're the equality state.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a very literal person. I think when you put something on the wall, you should try to live up to it or you should take it off the wall. And we got some equality to do. And we can get it done. And if you care about education, and you followed what happened with the science standards,
Yeah.
we don't censor our education in Wyoming. It's not done. Republicans don't want that to happen. Independents don't want that to happen. They certainly don't want that to happen in a budget footnote that nobody got a chance to listen to and that nobody got a chance to weigh in on. And then people are always surprised when I tell them, you know, Gillette's been doing it for a couple of years. Right there in the heart of coal country. Because they know that science is the way for their engineers. That science is how we move Wyoming forward. And to stop it, stops our society. To stop it says we're not going to go further. But the world's moving ahead. And we got to move with it. Because, you know, those dinosaurs didn't adapt and look what happened, you know? And you know, so there's people counting on you and there's people counting on you as workers. We're either one or two for the last 20 years in workplace safety. We killed a person every 10 days for 20 years. A person every 10 days for 20 years. I mean, that's a remarkable, sad statistic. And this is not nuclear fusion. We can do something about it. I think back when I was a high school history guy, and I wanted to know where my class was, I'd spring that pop test on them. You know, I'd spring it on them. Wouldn't tell them it was coming. And you've got a great idea on where you were. We can't do that in industry now. We can't survive and say, hey, let's see where your safety looks like. Let's see how that culture of safety, which is really important, and most good industries do it in Wyoming. By and large, most of them are doing a wonderful job. But it's the ones that aren't that we need to worry about. So what do we have? We have women and communities. We've got people, teachers and educators, and people who have kids and who love education. We've got workers in Wyoming, and we're starting to build a big majority here. And I'm never going to be shy about it because it's too important. I grew up in this state. I love this state. This state needs to move. And right now it's not moving. And it needs to. We need to talk about a way to diversify. You know, I think a lot of people think, well, a Democrat's going to stay away from coal. Hell no. I'm not going to stay away from that. I'm the son of an oil field worker. Nobody wants to see their dad lose their job. Nobody wants to see their mom lose their job. But the world is saying we need to change coal. We need to find a way with all our traditional resources to extract it more efficiently, to burn it more efficiently, to remove some of the emissions. And then we don't have to worry about the EPA. Take your future in your own hands. Then you don't have to worry about somebody dictating policy. I think that's the lesson of my life, and I think if you think back on your life, that's the lesson in your life. So we need you to walk on. We need you to believe that you can. Because every day, I wake up in the morning, I'm certain. I'm certain this is going to happen. Because why wouldn't you? I've been 8th string before. And you know when you're 8th string, the goal is to run out on War Memorial. But you've got work to do today. And the work to do today is to get to 7th string. And then when that's done, you get to 6th string. So we got one game, November 4th. And the rest of this is practice. Sometimes practice isn't that fun. But you know, most of the time it is. Last time we went walking, Travis and myself went walking in the neighborhoods in Casper. And I like that. I'm one of those weird politicians who likes to bother you at your door. And I had 5 people invite me in. You know, I almost had a couple of glasses of wine, but I stopped, you know, because I want to get back to the next thing. And they were Republicans and Independents, 2 of the 5 families. And like, what do you think? What do you think about healthcare, Pete? What do you think about education? How are we going to address the state employees? And there's a big issue with state employees right now. I know some of you might be retirees. You hadn't had a cost of living adjustment in 10 years. More than that? Oh, they told me 2004. So, at least 10 years. We have 38 openings at the Highway Patrol.
Yeah.
Run that by. 38 openings. The most we've ever had in more than 10 years. 21 shifts a month. 38 openings. 700 or 800 shifts going unfilled at your Highway Patrol. Some guy just got us last night at the bike bash, which was really cool, by the way. And he said, you know what, I need 10 signs. I'm a Republican and I'm a Wyoming Highway Patrolman. Would you please find a way to make signs that say Republicans for Gosar? Because if not, I'm going to have my kids draw on your signs. And I said, that's fine. You know, make sure it doesn't wash off, because we need that to handle the rain and the snow and whatever. But he said, you know, this is important. I don't know that I've ever voted for a Democrat, but I'm voting for you because we cannot have 38 openings in our Highway Patrol. And that isn't just happening in the Highway Patrol. I'm a member of YDOT. You ought to see the lists of jobs that come every day. People have had enough. Those little shots that they take at them, they're overpaid, underworked. After a while, when you are not overpaid for sure, when you haven't had a raise in 5 years, when the work rules change for no reason at all, you think, well, I'm just going to find another place to work. And I don't think that we can do that, because a lot of people that are good people have left the state. A lot of people that really safeguard your money. A lot of people that do their job as well as anybody's ever done their job are leaving. But here's another opportunity. So we got women and families and communities. We got workers. We have people about education. And now we have state employees, and we haven't even talked about game and fish folks and hunters and fishermen, which is a passion of mine. We cut the budget on habitat, and 3 of our four herds are in decline. Now somebody make that make sense to me, because it doesn't make sense. And that's our backbone of our number 2 industry. We need some leadership around here. We need somebody to say, this is where we're going, and this, we're going to get there. Because when we don't do Medicaid expansion, the $79 million we turned our backs on, we don't have the opportunity to develop a rural healthcare system like the world has never seen. It can happen in Wyoming. It should happen in Wyoming. There are people who are innovative, who are doing wonderful things in Wyoming, but we're not helping them deliver. We have people doing mental health that is just an unbelievable need in Wyoming. We could do it so much better, and when we find somebody who is thinking about suicide in many places in Wyoming, we put them in jail, because that's the only place we have for safety. We're one of the top states in suicide. Doesn't need to happen. In fact, it won't happen, because you guys will make sure it doesn't happen. Because you'll get together and you'll find a way. We need 40,000 votes that aren't Democrats. So those of you Democrats, I'm talking to you right now. You need to get at least 4/6 of a person to vote for me who's not a Democrat. Now, some of you might not get 4/6, so some of you are going to need to do 2 or 5 or 10 or 20, and I know you all got Republican friends. I got them too. There's nothing wrong with it. It's all right. You know? So just get a few. Go talk to your neighbors. That's a start. Go to my website. Go to Facebook and like and share the stuff that we send out. Come on Wednesday nights. It's awesome on Wednesday nights because of 7 to 9, I'll take any question, and there's a video feed. Give me your questions. I love it. It's fantastic. I've become a better candidate because of it. The crazy person in my staff who decided that was a good idea and scared the bit out of me, they made me a better candidate because it's perfect. It's wonderful. We have talked about, you can't imagine, wild horses, to the Medicaid expansion, to immigration policy, to education, to early childhood ed, and everything in between. And the conversation is rich and engaging. And so I'll just leave you with the last note. Some of you saw last week we asked the governor, or maybe 10 days ago, I can't remember, they all come together. We said, you know what, those debates are great. Those debates at the PBS and the Casper Star, those are fine. But we need something different. We need to use that technology that you spent some money on, that we use every Wednesday night with my iPad to video stream. We need some people's debates. We need folks to get out in some of these communities and be able to raise their hand, step to the mic and say, you know what, Governor, my family has really been impacted with the disability waivers and the cuts. You need to tell me why, because it's killing us. Pete, what right do you have to be governor? What do you see going forward? Those are legitimate questions. And the people of Wyoming have them, and they need to be engaged. And here's a perfect opportunity. Now, the first time he turned us down in about an hour. We gave him an opportunity, we gave him the weekend. You know, sometimes you make rash decisions, you need the weekend, you know. But it took a day. But he doesn't remember the walk-on part of my shirt. I'm not going away. You know? I got 54, 55 days to make something like that happen, and it's time to make it happen. Because it's too good. As I work through Tailgate Park, I do that, and it's great. You know, you're next Cowboy, some people just vote for you just because of that, which is cool. It's a lot easier that way sometimes. And they come up and they go, hey, that's a great idea. Can we have one in Newcastle? I'm sure. Why not? It's an opportunity to engage. This is a people's democracy, and I think about Joan and what she's talking about, you know, the money in politics. Well, if people will get engaged, we'll drown it out. If you'll get 4/6 of a Republican friend to vote, if you'll go to your neighborhood and say, you know what, this guy's all right. He's not all bad. You know, he's not exactly what you think. Go look. We'll get this done on November 4th. And then I won't have to tell you, I won't call you up and go, hey, Jack, hey, Mary, get on up here. Don't screw it up. So thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Yes, amen. We can go to church tomorrow and just like say amen. Yes.